So here's about, I'd say about a cup of blueberries and maybe about 2 cups of water, just water straight out of the tap. These are all the blueberries, the rejects, if you will, from our blueberry picking. They were too mushy or whatever it is. No one wanted to eat them, so I sorted them out, and I didn't feel good about throwing them away, so I thought I will make a dye bath. This has been simmering on the stove for about an hour. You can see lots of color. And I just have a regular potato masher. I'm gonna break up the fruit some. I'm going to continue doing that until I have every berry opened up. Then I'll check back in. And I just wanted to show you, you can kind of see it on this paper towel, that color just dripping off. Look how pretty. But I wanted to use, this is just a plain white paper towel. And we'll just wick up some of that color to look at. You can see it's pretty, like a nice purpley kind of color. This is my first time dyeing with blueberries, so I'm excited to see how it will do. Okay, so now I'm going to get my yarn soaking. Here I have just a couple tablespoons of white vinegar and then warm water. I'm using that as a mordant. I'm actually not sure if that's even the best mordant, but that's what I'm going to do. A mordant is what causes the dye to adhere to the fiber. So we're going to try vinegar. And this is the yarn that I'm using. It's a worsted weight. I got it from Knit Picks. It's just some wool, some good wool from Knit Picks. So I'm just going to soak this in the water. It's much easier to dye wet fiber than it is dry, especially the way that we'll be doing it with just submersion. So I'm going to let it soak for a few minutes just to make sure that all the air bubbles. I'm being very careful not to really agitate this too much. I don't want it to start you know, felting out or anything like that. I just want it to get nice and wet. I'm just going to let it sit there for a little bit. Our dye, I think, is ready. It's simmered maybe another 30 minutes after I mashed everything up. So now I'm just going to strain it, all this out, and make sure there's no like pulp or seeds or anything like that in my pot. So I'll probably give it a good wash or something and then return the liquid back to the pot. So that's what I'm going to do now. Here's what we have after we've strained it. And then I've just been, you know, working the pulp and the fruit around in the sieve a little bit to squeeze out as much of the juice and the liquid that I can. Okay, so from all my pressing, there's still some few little seeds and things that made it through the sieve. So I'm gonna strain it one more time. And I have just a clean pot this time. Bigger pot. We're about ready to put our yarn in. To this, I added some more water, just so I had enough to submerge all my yarn fully. So I'm gonna take it out, the yarn out of its water bath, and put it in here. Yarn. I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me. And I'm just going to slowly add it all in, hoping it will all fit nicely. And then use my tongs. Push it down. Move it around a little bit. Oh, look at, I already love it. And I'm gonna set the heat on about medium or so. And I want to bring it up to a simmer. And I'm gonna let it simmer for maybe about 20, 30 minutes. And then turn the heat off and let it come back down to room temperature, or at least to the temperature where it's comfortable for me to handle the yarn. And then I'll take it out and wash. Okay. I didn't see a lot of sticking the dye onto the yarn. It was maybe 15 minutes, and I, lifted up some, and it just didn't seem to be sticking. So I poured a little bit of the vinegar right into the dye bath, and it was interesting. There was immediately a change in the color. It turned a little bit more pink, especially right where I poured it. And it had me thinking it certainly would have been a better idea to remove the yarn, add the vinegar, mix it well, then add the yarn back. So learn from my mistake. Don't do that. Take the yarn out before changing your dye bath. That makes sense. But so this is where we are. I'm about it's about simmering, and there's some few bubbles popping up there, so that is perfect. So I am just gonna set the timer now for about 15 minutes, and then check it after that and see if it is at a color that I like. Okay, it's been 15 minutes at this simmer, and I pull it out. I'm still not entirely happy with the color that I'm getting. I'm trying to focus here, but it's just not what I want. So I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer and hope that I can get it a little bit darker, because you see in that bath is still a lot of color, and I want that color to leave the water and go into the fiber. At least that's the goal. Okay, it's been simmering now for almost 2 hours, and when I check the dye bath, there's still a good bit of color in there. So I'm going to let it simmer a little bit more. Check it in another little bit. Because, the yarn's still, it's not right where I want it. I think it has room to hold more color, that is. Okay, it is about cool. And so here is where we're at. The color. And there's still a little bit of dye in the dye bath, but it's pretty much all been absorbed. So that is great. I don't know what the little bit that's left, if it even can get in. I don't know that there's room. There's the color. This ended up sitting, let's see, it's been about 6 hours now since I first started. It simmered for maybe 3 hours, 4 hours maybe. And then I put the lid on it and just let it cool down. And I might just sit it overnight even, and take it and rinse it in the morning. since it's late now. But we'll see. It's morning now, so everything is nice and cool. I'll just show you what the day bath looks like. It's pretty good. Still a little bit of color left in there, but most of it has been absorbed. So now I get to remove the yarn. And I'm just going to pull it out with my tongs and put it into that bowl and bring it to the sink to rinse. Okay, so here's our yarn. I'm just going to wash it with cool water and just a dash of soap. Not much. Just to get everything out. Anything you don't want. And it will help it to smell nice. Do this until the water runs clear. The water is looking pretty good. Just keep on doing that. Oops. If I were using both my hands, I wouldn't have let my yarn touch the sink. I prefer to keep it all in the bowl. But I'm using one hand now. And so I just keep doing that, filling up this bowl, letting it rinse. I think it's about done now. So I'm just gonna gently wring it out. Get some of the excess water off, and then I'm going to bring it outside to dry. Okay, here's my yarn hanging to dry. I'm outside on my back patio, and it's just hanging on my swing. This spot does get sunny, and I will remove the yarn before the sun is hitting this. I learned from some very crafty mamas in a group that I'm in on Facebook that berry dyes are actually not very light fast. So they may be color fast where they're not going to bleed when they get wet, but they're not very light fast, meaning the sun can fade that color away. So I'm going to let this dry here until I notice the sun peeping over. And I'll take it up and probably just hang it inside. Okay, our yarn is all dry. I just wanted to show you the color. There's a little bit of variation in it. I'm guessing next time I probably should stir the pot just a little bit more as it's going. But the color turned out being like a grayish, purpley color, and I like it. It's wound up in a little pink.
It's raining.
Nice little thing of yarn.
It's raining.